Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are here breaking down the Super Bowl, the ass kicking that happened at the Super Bowl, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Man, the people in the room, G Money Grant Mitchell. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, Tanner. I'm preparing for a bit of snow. Supposed to get about 6 to 7 inches today. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, so we got another 6 weeks of winter. Shout out to that dumb little groundhog. How did that even start? Do you know who came up with the idea that a groundhog could predict the length of winter?
The Pilgrims.
So Punxsutawney Phil's been around since the Pilgrims?
Grant, it's all Fugazi. It's fake.
It is.
Fugazi.
Although I like the movie Groundhog Day. If you haven't seen that movie,
I haven't seen that movie. What's it about?
Yeah, it's oh gosh, why am I blanking on the actor's name? Anyway, it's about. I gotta look up who the actor is because it's gonna drive me crazy, and I really should know. Bill Murray, that's the name. Sorry, Bill Murray. He goes to a little town. Is Punxsutawney the name of the town? I would assume it is. He goes to Punxsutawney, and basically every day he wakes up and it's Groundhog Day again. And it's just this whole, like, he tries killing himself in a bunch of different inventive ways. Like, he jumps in a bath with a toaster. He drives a car up a railroad track. He does a whole bunch of stuff trying to break out of the cycle. And every time he just keeps waking up back in Punxsutawney on Groundhog Day.
It's a comedy movie, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. You know, it's not a comedy, Grant. You know, it's not a comedy.
What happened in the Super Bowl?
Well, what happened in the Super Bowl? The Celtics just flying up the odds board, just becoming heavy favorites to win everything right now. But yeah, the Super Bowl, it was not a comedy. That was a horror movie, rated R. Patrick Mahomes, washed.
You know how the NFL will post like this player's best plays from this game's whatever. Have you seen Patrick Mahomes' highlight reel from the Super Bowl?
He didn't have any highlights until they were down for like 40-0 or whatever the score was.
The video starts at 34-0.
Yeah. Pretty bad. I saw that clip going around. I saw that tweet going around, and I didn't really look into it because I didn't think there were many highlights. I don't count Mahomes' game. I don't count Xavier Worthy's game. I mean, Xavier Worthy had an unbelievable game stat line. It just didn't matter. DeAndre Hopkins talking about the refs. We got a lot to unpack in this game. And I know we're a couple days removed here, so we're not going to give the full breakdown. We're going to talk about it from some different angles. But still, it was an ass kicking. The Philadelphia Eagles just came in there on a mission. I think the Chiefs thought they were all that. I mean, the Eagles didn't even blitz, and they still just annihilated Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to break that down in a minute. But Grant, first things first, we need to talk about WSN.com. We got a lot of fun things coming up. Baseball, March Madness, NBA Finals, playoffs, all that stuff. Break down why the people need to check out WSN.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL Super Bowl is over, but we are actually already looking ahead to next year. We've already got previews of Super Bowl and MVP. We've got a list of odds, so go check that out. But like Tanner mentioned, if you're into sports betting in any shape or form, you know, you like parlays, you like betting on winners, you want to bet futures, like who's going to win March Madness, at WSN.com, the World Sports Network. We got game previews. We got player props. We have sportsbook promo codes so you can get some extra deals, some bonus bets, stuff like that. It's all over there at WSN.com. So go ahead and check it out.
Go check it out. And the Chiefs need to check out, I don't know, something different, because whatever they did in this football game wasn't good enough to win. Patrick Mahomes, many are saying he's washed, Grant. Many are saying he's washed. What do you think of that?
I just want to start right now because I don't know if you've seen, but our comments on the last video are starting to go up. I was flat out wrong about this game. I had the Chiefs. I thought it would be close. I said whoever wins is going to win by 3 points or less. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Completely wrong. This was just domination. Like you said, the Eagles didn't blitz a single time. That is the 6th time in Super Bowl history that a team did not blitz. All 6 of those teams won. All Philly did was sit back in some form of quarters. They sat back and cover 4 the entire game, and they were able to just dominate the point of attack. And, you know, everybody knows that Philly has a good line, right? But Philly didn't do this to the Rams. Philly, as bad as they beat the Commanders, that was a close game going into the end of the third quarter. You know, the Commanders put up a better fight than this. The Rams put up a better fight than this. The Chiefs just looked like They looked like they'd never been on this stage before. And Nick Sirianni, as much crap as he's gotten, he had this team ready to go. Vic Fangio had the guys coached up. The Philly offense, Jalen Hurts, I think there's going to be a shift in the narrative to talking about, is he a big game player? And I think rightfully so, he is. I mean, the best game of his life was 2 Super Bowls ago. He was excellent in this Super Bowl. So, I mean, just top to bottom, I got to give Philly a lot of credit before we even go into anything else.
Jalen Hurts, we can start with him. He just wins games. It's that simple. And he might not have been great throwing the football this season, but when you look at what he had to do, his job was to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley and make throws when he had to. He was not the guy that you had to sit there and count on. In this game, he became that guy quickly because the one thing that the Chiefs did well was limit what Saquon Barkley did. Now, that also opened up A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert down the field. But they did do a nice job against Saquon, forcing Jalen Hurts to be the pocket passer. And he did that really well. And Jalen Hurts played excellent. And that's one of the reasons they won this game. But there were a lot of people online saying Jalen Hurts MVP, Jalen Hurts MVP. While Jalen Hurts did probably deserve MVP in the standard of how we give it to a quarterback, the defense was the reason the Philadelphia Eagles won this football game. That is the sole reason. The offense was good enough to win. They played very well when they had to. They were clean, but the defense is what won the game for the Eagles. And if you can give an award to one unit, an MVP award, it should have gone to the Eagles defense, specifically white cornerbacks. White cornerbacks are back.
So I want to give credit to Cooper DeJean. That's awesome, by the way, to be a rookie on your birthday and you get a pick 6 in the Super Bowl and you win. But with respect to Cooper DeJean, there's no way to do it, but the MVP was a unit and it was the defensive line. Everybody on the defensive line deserved MVP because they won the game. Kind of going off of what you said here, if we're back before the game has started and we're talking about what's going to happen, and I say Philly's not going to get to 350 yards of offense, they're going to go 3 of 12 on third down, 0 of 1 on fourth down. They're going to kick 4 field goals. They're going to turn the ball over, and Saquon's going to have 57 yards. You would have thought the Eagles scored 14 points, or 4 field goals. But you get the point I'm making. You would have thought they would have been under 20 points. It would have been a bad game, and they would have lost. The Chiefs defense, especially the run defense, was outstanding. I would say overall their defense was pretty good. Spags, the one thing he didn't adjust to was Jalen Hurts was scrambling. But at that point in the game, they'd already fallen so far behind that they kind of had to call those man blitzes. They couldn't have a spy lurking around because they had to try to generate some pressure and force a turnover. And, it became easy for Jalen and the Eagles to pick them apart. But if I'm making a pie of blame, I've got 1% for Andy Reid. And I think Andy Reid actually did a pretty poor job. I mean, they ran the ball one time.
1% though? You need like more than 1%.
Well, this is the thing. I've got 1% to Andy Reid, 9% to the offensive line. And I thought both those were very bad, but I've put 90% of this on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was awful, and maybe that's a little bit inflated, but when they win, we say it's because of him. We say it's because they don't have great receivers around him. He's been limited, whatever. He always finds ways to win these one-score games. If you're going to bet on the Chiefs, it's because you have to bet on Patrick Mahomes. So when he does this, when he has a QBR of 11 in the Super Bowl and all these empty calorie stats, he had 34 passing yards when the Eagles had 34 points. 1 passing yard per point is absurd. He threw that first possession on the third down where he scrambles to the left and then rolls all the way back out to the right and he throws it in triple coverage. And he got lucky, went out of bounds. It was incomplete. But I said right there, the Chiefs lost this game. Mahomes is not dialed. I texted you that. I said Mahomes is not ready. And that's what we saw. The early turnover or the early interception, another interception on his own 10-yard line. This was just a horrible, horrible game from him. So you can look at the box score and 10 years down the road, we might say 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. He wasn't awful. No, he was horrendous in this game.
He was horrendous. I don't want to put all the blame on him because he had no time to throw the ball. Like even the pick to Zach Bond, that's not a pick if he doesn't get his legs taken out by whatever offensive line got their
I think it was Tooney.
Yeah, like, he doesn't throw that pick. The pick to Cooper DeJean, or DeJean Cooper, as many are saying on Twitter right now. That was funny. I saw a tweet. It's like he's not playing like Cooper DeJean. He's playing like DeJean Cooper out there. Yeah, it was just a bad game for Mahomes. I would put a bigger piece of blame on Andy Reid. He made no adjustments. I would put a bigger blame on the offensive line, but you have to put the most blame on the quarterback coach. But the offensive line was horrendous. If you don't blitz, if a team doesn't blitz and they get 6 sacks, and it wasn't because Mahomes was sitting there holding on to the football, he legitimately had no time to throw the ball. So I would put a much bigger chunk of blame on the offensive line. But this game also revealed to me, and I think this was the discussion going on online, that Mahomes, while he is not washed up, he is no Tom Brady. I will defend that take now that Brady is better than Mahomes. Brady will always be better than Mahomes.
Okay, so I've got some things to say here. So I want to personally say I said before this game that I had put Mahomes as the GOAT already. That was wrong of me to do. That was wrong. That being said, people who say this game disqualifies Brady from being the GOAT, I think you're getting caught up in what always happens. You know, when Brady won the 3 Super Bowls, he didn't win another one for 10 years. He was 3-2 in his first 5 Super Bowls, just like Mahomes is. There were articles saying this is why Tom Brady is Joe Montana. You know, after LeBron and the Heat lost to the Mavericks in the finals, this is why LeBron can't be the GOAT. When Michael Jordan was losing to the Celtics and the Knicks and the Pistons, they were saying this is why he's no Magic Johnson. Everybody who it becomes a GOAT or is at least getting into that conversation, they have this stage where it's like, well, this is why they will never do it. If we look back at Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, his first Super Bowl, which is against the greatest show on turf, which they won, he had 145 yards, 1 touchdown. Next Super Bowl, he was really good, 354, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 236, 2 touchdowns, no picks. After that, it's 266, 1 touchdown, 276, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he didn't have as bad of a game as Mahomes just had, but he also wasn't spectacular. And again, he started the same record, 3-2, Mahomes now 3-2. It took Brady another 10 years to win his 4th Super Bowl. I would think we all believe Mahomes is going to get one before 10 years. Now, it might be another 5 years, but I don't think we're waiting that long. So I understand the frustration with Mahomes, and it's fair to criticize him. He was awful. That was the worst game of his career by far, but I don't think this is a disqualifier. I think this is just a setback.
It's not a disqualifier, but he's not. The people that were proclaiming him the GOAT, and, you know, I think we were both potentially doing that. I don't know. I need to look back at the tape, review the tape on what I exactly said, but like you can't have Mahomes could be the greatest quarterback of all time. He's on that trajectory still. I mean, just what he's done in the first 7 years of being a starting quarterback, Brady did not do. Like, Brady had his great run, but then he went quiet for a little longer. And then, you know, he had the losses to Eli and all that stuff.
He also had sorry to jump in, but like Mahomes was on the verge of history here with the 3-peat. Brady was on the verge of history with the undefeated season, and they lost that.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes will be back, but right now, I think based on the season that he had, and again, he didn't have a great statistical season, but he could light it up at any time. You need to kind of take a step back and say, well, maybe this wasn't the year to proclaim him the GOAT. At the same time, too, I think Mahomes came into the league as first-round draft pick. He was expected to be that guy. He was expected to be good. Obviously, not as good as he is right now because nobody can get to that level. We can't expect anybody to get to that level necessarily. Where Tom Brady came in the league as a no-name, worked his way into starting quarterback role, and became the greatest quarterback of all time. So the story for Brady also helps his case here. But Mahomes, when you lose to Brady twice in big games, and then you lose this game the way you played, it's definitely going to leave a sour taste in your mouth. And now you like Travis Kelce, he's washed. He needs to retire. He can't make a block. He can't do anything really. And then at the same time too, you got Andy Reid getting older. So what is this Chiefs team going to develop into in the coming seasons now? And that's another thing that we need to account for looking at Patrick Mahomes for the rest of his career.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get interesting because Brady, one thing that New England was so good at is they were changing their roster all the time, but they were doing it in almost, I don't know if insignificant is the right word, but the changes they were making were so common and they always happen. Bill Belichick had that saying, you always move off a guy a year before you should. So they were losing important players, but they were so good at getting more value from unheralded guys as free agents or in the draft. Like they would always trade back in the draft. They were so good at doing that despite all the changes happening on the roster, you never really felt it. with the Chiefs, we've seen very large evolution. You know, when Mahomes came into the league, it was 50 touchdowns his first year starting. They were going bombs away. He was throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns every game, it felt like. Then they became a defensive team. This year, their defense was really good, but I don't think they were a defensive team. It was like, we're going to dink it down. We're going to dunk it down. We're going to check down. We're going to knuckle under, and that's how we're going to win games. We're going to win 1-score games. So it's like they've got to find some level of consistency. And to your point, with Kelsey, who's been his favorite target, retiring next year at the latest, I would say, potentially this offseason. Andy Reid getting really old. He's, you know, basically Belichick's age, and he's not really a model of health. It's possible that Andy Reid's going to step away soon. And when that happens, you know, Mahomes not going to finish his career with Andy Reid as his head coach. So when these major changes happen, that's honestly going to be a bit of a chance for him to do something that Tom Brady didn't have to do in the middle of his career. Brady didn't go through huge change like that until he went to the Buccaneers. So that could be a chance for Mahomes to one-up Brady in that sense. But it's also very hard when you lose one of the best coaches of all time, like Andy Reid. There's no guarantee you're going to have as much success. So if a new guy comes in, things don't work out, they miss the playoffs a couple of times, that could really derail his GOAT case there as well.
Yeah, and still one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, but you need to be great in the second part of your career because that's what made Tom Brady the GOAT. There was no Tom Brady GOAT status before we got to that second part of his career, and then what solidified it was going to Tampa and winning too. Like that just showed how great he was, and he also made big playoff runs in Tampa too. I mean, they were always competitive when he was there. So
they were in the NFC Championship game. They're like one play away in the NFC Championship game the year the Rams won the Super Bowl from getting back to the Super Bowl.
That was divisional, I think.
Oh, it was divisional? Okay.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp hit him over the top with that deep head. That was a game they should have won, though.
Yeah.
And gone to the NFC Championship. And then they lost to Dallas. That was the game that everyone thought Dak was like back.
Yeah, Dak was him.
Yeah, Dak was him. So in the wild card round, I believe. So he had good runs in Tampa, too. All right, Grant. So we should probably look at next year's Super Bowl odds because they're kind of messing with my head a little bit.
Well, before we do that, actually, Tanner, can I just tell you some cool betting stuff?
Yeah.
So first of all, I had a full unit on a parlay plus 1,000 parlay that ended up hitting. I had the Devontae Smith over 52.5 receiving yards, Saquon under 109.5 rushing yards, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, Mahomes most passing yards. 4-leg parlay that cashed. Excuse me. I had an $8 parlay, and I never fill these out, these little lottos. I never do them, but in the Super Bowl I do just because it's fun. It was $8 to win 10,000. I was really, really close. So listen to this. DeAndre Hopkins anytime touchdown. That was plus 650 cash. Yeah. Devontae Smith anytime touchdown. That was plus 250 cash. Saquon Barkley 2+ receptions cash. Juju Smith-Schuster 2+ receptions cash. Mahomes 200+ passing yards cash. Mahomes 3+ touchdowns cash. Jalen Hurts 2+ passing touchdowns cash. I had the over on Mahomes 28.5 rushing yards. He had 27. I had Hurts 225+ passing yards. He had 221. And then the big one was I had a Noah Gray touchdown, and he didn't get that. But I mean, that was really close.
Yeah, it was pretty close. It's a good. I mean, even the legs that you hit, probably $8 probably pays close to 1,000. I would say.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah, pretty close. That's pretty good.
It's always frustrating whenever you look back. It's like if I just took that one out.
Yeah, but it's still good. I mean, I had an okay Super Bowl with the props. I bet Saquon Barkley touchdown in a lot of things too, because I was just like, if Saquon doesn't score, I don't see a route for the Eagles to really win the game. And that logic was completely wrong. So that was kind of how my game went. It left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, this one, just because I wanted to see a good game. I had futures on both sides. I was really hoping for a competitive game that I could enjoy as a football fan. We didn't get that, obviously. So we got a little time till next year, though. But it's almost baseball season, Grant. Basketball, baseball, a lot of good things coming up. Go Red Sox.
Yeah, it was a really boring Super Bowl, which is unfortunate. From a betting perspective, a prop betting, I don't know why. I was just most confident in Saquon having a bad day. So, I bet his under. I stayed off him as a touchdown. Props, I would say, were okay for me, but I got the big one wrong. I had the Chiefs, and they didn't even show up.
What'd you think of Kendrick Lamar?
I thought it was
trash.
I knew in real time it was going to cause a political turmoil just because there's a lot of subliminal messaging, a lot of very heavy themes that I knew the performance itself, like him in the
He's not a
microphone
performer.
alone.
He's not a
Huh?
perform. He's not a performer. Like you
No,
need a
it wasn't.
performer.
It was very simple. It was very low
Yeah.
budget. The actual performance and like again, him and the microphone wasn't great. If you know the background of like everything that's going on with Drake and Kendrick, like what he stands for, then it becomes more meaningful to you. But like I'm not gonna fault people who aren't aware or maybe just like aren't huge hip hop fans. They don't know all of that stuff. Then that show probably meant nothing to them. They probably hated it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about the Kendrick Drake stuff, but the show, like, he's not a performer. I don't like Taylor Swift, but I know for damn sure Taylor Swift will put on a good show in the Super Bowl because that's what, like, she's a show person. Like, she's a performer. She's not just a singer, you know?
Yeah, it was shockingly low budget as far as the
Yeah.
performance goes for a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like, even, I don't know, like The Weeknd. Was The Weeknd a good show? No, I don't remember, but I remember there was a lot of, there was a lot of performance stuff in it. It wasn't just like him singing.
Rihanna's was a lot of performance. She was flying all around
She
on
was
their
pregnant too.
platform.
She was pregnant. Dedication. I think we need Morgan Wallen next year. He would do a good job.
That's been the calls from that's been the calls from the white community is Morgan Wallen.
But Morgan Wallen transcends the white community. He is bigger than just the white community, Grant. Like Morgan Wallen's a megastar. He's not like, this isn't like
not a megastar. Let's relax.
What are you talking about?
You can't be a megastar if you're only in one genre.
He's pop country. Yeah, but then you can't say Kendrick's like, who can you say is a megastar? Taylor Swift's a megastar.
Taylor Swift's a megastar. Drake is a megastar.
No, Drake's only in one.
No, he's in R&B. He's in pop. He made a house album. He's made Afro beats. Drake's all
in pop. We got to look this up, Grant. We got to look this up. So who's a megastar to you?
Post Malone's probably a megastar.
Post Malone's a megastar now, I would say, but Post Malone and Morgan Wallen.
Beyonce's a megastar.
All right, so Post Malone has 69 million listeners on Spotify. Morgan Wallen has 36. So Post Malone's Post Malone would be a good show. I would agree with that.
Beyonce's a megastar.
Yeah, but Beyonce's also like they're old. Drake's 75. Morgan Wallen would do a great job, Grant. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would do a great job. I just said he's not a megastar.
Like Zach Bryan would not fit the country. Zach Bryan would not fit the halftime show, and I love Zach Bryan, but Morgan Wallen would fit the halftime show. Great performer. He does transcend communities, and he
is only country.
No, he's not. He's pop too. He's like country pop. He's really evolved. Yeah, but you're naming off all rappers and like R&B soul.
I said Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
Beyonce's R&B and soul.
That's not rap, is it?
But it's still in that genre of community.
Oh, whatever.
The country boys ain't listen to Rihanna. Okay.
When was here? I need to get a list of
Taylor Swift is the one person who you could like literally make the case that transcends everybody.
I want to see the last time they had like a country style, country adjacent artist. Okay, so looking back at the past performers, it was Kendrick. Last year was that whole West Coast thing. It was Usher with Alicia Keys, Jermaine Dupri, her. Oh wait, sorry, that was 2022. That was the West Coast one. 2023 we had Rihanna. 2022 was the West Coast one with Dre, Snoop, Kendrick, Mary J, Eminem. Before that was The Weeknd, Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, Bad Bunny, J Balvin. 2019 was Maroon 5 and Travis Scott. Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Coldplay, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Katy Perry, Lenny Kravitz, Missy Elliott. I'm
like Bad Bunny has 95 million listeners on Spotify. Do you think I know one damn Bad Bunny song? Like, come on, like we got to be a little more. We got to be a little more, straight down the middle instead of like just going rapper. That's all they do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like if we say pop isn't a genre, like let's just say pop is only what's popular, not an actual genre. Rap is the most popular genre right now, I would say. You hear it in the most public places. Like if you go to a club, you're going to hear it. You go to a bar, you're going to hear it. You go to a sports game, you're going to hear it.
Well, if you go to a club in the South, you ain't going to hear it.
Well, okay. So I got a funny story, and I don't really know if I should even be telling this on the WSN channel, but
What?
So my buddy lives down in Myrtle Beach, and I went down there for his birthday a couple of years ago, and he said he wanted to go to a strip club. He has a girlfriend, mind you. He's like, I want to go to a strip club. I didn't know, but apparently they go all the time, and she goes with him. I was like, okay, like whatever, I'll go. It's your birthday. So we walk in there. I swear, this is Myrtle Beach. The strippers were falling down the pole to EDM remixes of 80s rock songs. It was the weirdest thing that I'd ever heard in my entire life.
It's weird. That's weird. But yeah, they didn't want rap. Makes sense. I'm sick of rap in the halftime show, Grant. Strippers are too. I want something I actually want to listen to.
I'm looking at this list, and I will say there's not been like, I can't find a single country artist here.
I guarantee Morgan Wallen would put on a better show than Kendrick, Usher, Rihanna. No, I'll take. I mean, I would rather watch Morgan Wallen, but The Weeknd, Shakira, Maroon 5, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Coldplay. Like,
I can't agree with you on this at all.
I would put on Bruno Mars had a good show. I feel like I don't remember.
Bruno Mars is a performer.
He's a performer. He's also a gambler. He also loves to gamble.
So does 42 Doug. Have you seen his Twitter page?
No.
42 Doug is the funny. You got to go check it out. Like, the only things he tweets is he like, Coach Calipari, you suck. Like, how could you? You guys suck. And he tweeted a picture of him at some casino, and he had $15,000 on Pascal Siakam to score 20 points, and he scored 19. And he added him. He's like, Pascal, you need to just retire, bro. It's give it up. It's over. How like I could go out there and I could score it. His only tweets are just complaining about gambling.
That's awesome. I love that. I mean, that's Bruno Mars. If Bruno Mars was tweeting, he'd probably be tweeting about gambling. But anyways, halftime show's got to figure it out. We need Taylor Swift. Like and I don't like Taylor Swift. I hate Taylor Swift. But like that's the one person who I think I would trust to get the job done. And then Morgan Wallen number 2.
So I saw a tweet, and like I understand it's a tweet, it's a meme, it's and everything, but it did get me thinking a little bit. The meme was like, I don't even know how to describe the format, but it was basically the NFL saying, we don't have good games, but we do have ratings. And I thought about it. I was like, a lot of the Super Bowls lately have not been great. This Super Bowl was not entertaining. When the Bucks beat the Chiefs 31-9, if you're a Buccaneers fan, a Tom Brady fan, cool, but really not that entertaining. 13-3, Patriots over Rams, not entertaining. Panthers over Broncos, 24-10, Broncos over Panthers, what I'm trying to say. Not entertaining. When the Seahawks beat the Broncos 43-8, not entertaining. I would say a good 40% of the last 20 Super Bowls have really not been great games.
Yeah, I agree. And you're paying for a halftime show too within that. Like that's included in the ticket price. So we need a good halftime show. All right. Okay. Well, last thing we'll do, Grant.
Back to the halftime show.
Last thing we'll do, Grant. Well, you can't control the game. Like you can't control how good the game is. You
can't. But like, I think what makes me so frustrated is how much the tickets cost. These aren't fans of the teams that are going to the games. It's rich people. It's an elitist setup. It's capitalistic setup. Most people don't have the average ticket cost was $5,600. Most people don't have that money. Most people don't have a tenth of that. They don't have $560 to just go drop on a ticket because people usually aren't going to go alone. They're probably going to go with their significant other or their kid or whoever. So they're going to need 2 other tickets. Now we're at $1,500. Now you got to get plane tickets for all of them. Now you got to get a hotel and you got to buy food while you're there. It's like a $3,000 trip. And that's with the tickets being 1/10 of what they actually were.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, after spending a little time in New Orleans, I wouldn't be jumping on a plane to go down there to watch anybody play a football game. Honestly, that is it. That is the trash of trash cities. And that's terrible.
So I know somebody who has spent some time partying at LSU and was down in Bourbon Street and all that. They backed up what you said. They said it's dirty. You don't really go there to hang out. You go there if there's a specific event, you go there for that and you leave right when it finishes.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to catch a disease, or possibly get drugged in your drink, go there. But man, like this is a terrible city. And they did a great job, like with their police presence and all that. Like they were fantastic, but there must be so much crime down there. It's dirty. It smells like weed, piss, shit. Like it is disgusting. So I will never be going to New Orleans unless I have to go to New Orleans. I did not enjoy my time there. Anyway,
That was like me in Paris. I went to Paris expecting, the city of love and to be beautiful. It was so dirty. I was on the metro and a homeless guy peed on the metro, on the floor of the metro in front of all of us.
that's like New York. Like New York is a trash city. Like I will defend that take now. New York is disgusting, but New York, even the worst, like not the worst parts of New York, but like if you're in like an average part of New York, it is luxury living compared to New Orleans. Every part of New Orleans, there is no nice part. I didn't find, and when I was in a quote unquote nice part, I thought I was going to look up and have like an overhang fall on my head because it's so poorly built. It's just disgusting.
I've never been to New Orleans, so I can't back
Don't
this up.
go.
But I believe
Don't
you.
go. Don't go. Like you don't go. You don't. There's no. New Orleans only has like trashiness. There's no like. And obviously, there's places that I didn't see or whatever. But the upscale or not even upscale, just average bar setting there. They don't have that. It's just like trashiness. But anyways, that's my take. Halftime show, real quick next year. Grant Miley, Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber.
Are you reading me a list of like betting odds?
Just potential.
Okay.
Miley, Lil Wayne, no. Miley, no. Justin Bieber, I would say yes. Billie Eilish, no. Ariana Grande, no. Post Malone, yes. Drake, they're gonna give it to Drake next year.
No, they're not.
Taylor, I'd go Post Malone, Taylor, Drake. That'd be my three.
I don't see them giving it to Drake. They're not going to give it to Taylor, I don't think, because I really do think Kelsey's done. And if he's not, last year it'll be his last year. We've both predicted the fall off for the Chiefs, and I understand that just because Travis has a bad year doesn't mean Taylor can't have it. But yeah, I feel like if Taylor Swift was going to do it, it would have been this year. It just would have made more sense for the storyline of the NFL.
You can't put her out there because she would potentially get booed, but also the ticket prices for that game would be insane. Like, not saying San Francisco is a nice city. I think it's in San Francisco or up in the Bay, but you can't. I think those ticket prices would be through the roof because you're getting a Taylor Swift concert, a mini Taylor Swift concert included in it. So that would be just very, very high price. You get a lot of Swifties to the game. Did you see this? Is a bunch of bull crap, Grant. Did you see this? New Heights put out a graphic congratulating the Eagles on their Super Bowl, and the Swifties flocked to the replies and they took it down.
Wait, what were the Swifties saying?
Like, this is ridiculous. Like, Travis just lost in the Super Bowl and you're putting out a congratulations. Like, Jason played for the Eagles his whole career.
Even if he didn't, like, it's just the right thing to do. If the Colts won the Super Bowl, they probably would have put one out.
Yeah, but like it means more. Like Jason said, like I'm rooting for the Eagles. Like I want the Eagles to win the game. His wife was rooting for the Eagles. And we got Swifties who just found out about the game of football a year ago, coming in and taking over.
I also saw that some Swifties went to did you see what CJ Gardner-Johnson did?
No. What did he do?
So this is really bad. I don't support this at all. I think the day after the game might have been late the day of the game. He posted a picture of him trash talking Travis like during the game. You can tell like they're close to each other and CJ's clearly saying something. And he captioned it, "You should have never left that thick shit," which he's talking about is Travis's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. He's basically saying you should have never left her. You should have went. But that's really bad. Like, that's just being the worst winner imaginable. Don't attack somebody for their relationship, especially when you won. You didn't even lose. So Swifties saw it, and CJ Gardner-Johnson's mom, I guess, owns a restaurant, and they went to her restaurant and just started flooding it with negative reviews, 1-star reviews. So
good for them. I mean, this is a savage game. Football's a savage game, Grant. That's crazy.
I feel bad for Gardner-Johnson's mom, but he brought that on her. He did that. He crossed a line. So, I mean, the Swifties are going to do what they're going to do.
With that being said, let's see something. What am I looking up right now, Grant?
I don't. Well, you said you want to talk about Super Bowl future odds, but I feel like you have that up already.
I do. What am I bringing up though? CJ Gardner-Johnson's made $20 million in his career, so he's got it. He can financially help his mama. So, anyways, what was I gonna? I had one more thing I was gonna say. God damn it! One more thing I was gonna say. Oh, the Kayla Nicole stuff. Yeah, we might have to push off Super Bowl. Then we'll just go into Luka. We could talk Super Bowl Thursday. I don't know, Friday.
Okay.
But I saw this. We're just having fun right now. I saw Kayla Nicole like cheering and celebrating that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It's like, man, Travis is still winning. Everyone's like, you should. Travis won. I'm not, Taylor Swift politically, however you want to say it, whatever. She wouldn't be the girl for me, but she's worth a freaking bajillion dollars. Travis Kelce has gained like 6 million Instagram followers since dating her. She's made $1 billion. He's won multiple Super Bowls. Yeah, the great ones go out on their back, and he should go away because he can't make a block. He can't catch the ball right now. But you know what? He's still winning. He made the right decision leaving her.
Yeah, it was just a very loser thing of her to do. I saw somebody say women don't get called losers enough. Like that, Kayla Nicole's a loser for that. To my knowledge, she doesn't have any ties to anybody on the Eagles. And if she does, as of recently, it's probably just to get back at Travis. And you know what? He's not going around bashing her. I think I could be wrong. I think the relationship ended because he cheated on her. I could be totally wrong there. I don't want to put that out there. Don't take my words as the gospel. And if that did happen, then like that sucks. I'm sorry for Kayla Nicole, but I don't know. It just seemed unnecessary and very petty.
Yes. All right, Grant. Let's spend a couple minutes on the Super Bowl real quick, and then let's briefly talk about Luka and wrap this thing up. Super Bowl. Who's winning next year?
So one interesting thing is the Eagles were actually 4th in odds when they were released for next year. They were plus 750. They are already plus 600 and the betting favorite. So I don't know if that's a response. I don't know if people just started placing a bunch of futures bets and there's a big liability and that's why they moved. I think it's interesting. The Packers are in the top 10. I think it's interesting. The Commanders are in the top 10. I think it's interesting. The 49ers are up to 6th considering they had a bad year and they're probably going to lose some guys. I would say I like the Detroit Lions if they can stay healthy, but they did just lose both their coordinators. If I had to pick, and this doesn't really take value into account, if I'm just picking, I'm going to say it's Lamar's time. I'm going to say the Ravens.
Ravens, Lions, I think, and potentially Bengals. I think 18-1 is a good price for the Bengals. The Joe Shiesty revenge year. I think that could be a good move. I also, and I know I'm a Buccaneers homer here, but don't count on Tampa Bay Buccaneers 35-1. If they can clean up a few aspects of their team, I think there's some good value there that will fly up because they're probably going to win the NFC South once again and host a home playoff game. So I think that's a decent pick for something low down on the board that has a good quarterback and a good skill players.
I like all the teams right there, actually. I like the Chargers at 3-1. Vikings at plus 3,100, Buccaneers at plus 3,500.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I think there's going to be a lot more parity in the NFL now.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs going down. And I don't think the Eagles will repeat. Maybe they will. Who knows? But I think the Ravens would have been a very good matchup for them in the Super Bowl. I think they would have beaten the Bills pretty convincingly. But the Ravens, I think it's their time. I think it could be the Lions' time. The Niners are going to be good again. The Packers, the Commanders. There's a lot of good football teams right now in the NFL.
Are the Commanders the second best team in the NFL?
Second best in the NFL? Or the NFC?
We're NFL.
No.
They put up a much better fight than the Chiefs did. They scored 36 points and beat this Eagles defense.
It's a divisional game. They've seen them twice. They were better 100%, but second best in the NFL? No, Grant. Get that shit out of here.
Wait till we get Myles Garrett, Tanner.
All right. Well, I mean, all right. You need him because your defense is trash.
Yeah, anyway. We do need him.
All right. Luka Doncic made his debut last night. He was the most bet player to go over every player prop, but he had his minutes restriction and he went significantly under his scoring prop last night. So what did you think, Grant, as the LA Laker homer here?
Yeah, I saw the minutes restriction news, went to FanDuel, saw his line had moved from 27.5 to 26.5, instantly slapped it under. Figured it was going to be something about 20 points. He ended up being 14. His numbers weren't great, 14, 5 and 4, shot 1 of 7 from 3, but he hadn't played since Christmas. Normally it takes you, up 5 games or so to get your shooting touch back. The biggest thing that I noticed was it was pretty evident the Lakers didn't really know what to do. Like they weren't used to having Luka and LeBron and Reeves on the floor. A couple times they were running into each other. There was like they would cut to a place, but one of them was already going there, so they had to backpedal and get out. And despite all of that, their offense was unstoppable. It was beautiful for a good chunk of the game. You know, the starter or the bench guys came in and kind of ruined it. But I think at the end of the third quarter, they were shooting 60% from the field, 40% from three. They were up by more than 30 points. I get the Jazz are like a G League team at this point, but still, it was awesome. I do worry about their long-term outlook because they don't really have a center. Jackson Hayes had 12 points in this game. He made 6 shots. All 6 of them were lob dunks from Luka or LeBron. So that's obviously going to be a big part of their game, but without a center to play real good interior defense and rebound, when they play the Nuggets and Jokic, they're going to struggle. But if it's a guy like, Isaiah Hartenstein of the Thunder or Jaren Jackson of the Grizzlies, like I think they can still survive those matchups despite being small. They've won 12 of their last 14 games. And I mean, they just as far as what my eye can tell, they're probably playing the best basketball in the league right now. So I'm excited to see what happens for them moving forward.
So when you look at the NBA Finals right now, Grant, Celtics plus 195, OKC. I think the Celtics at plus 195 is warranted. I can't say Oklahoma City at plus 230 is warranted right now based on what we've seen. I mean, it's still a young team that hasn't proven anything.
Shea's probably going to win MVP, so that's playing into it.
But with that being said, I don't see them winning the West. I see the Celtics winning the East. I do not see OKC. I don't see OKC winning the West to a point where their odds are at, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah. I think OKC, it's just, even though the Nuggets aren't amazing, they're third in the West. They aren't an amazing team, but when the best player in the world is on your team, Jokic, and also when he's a center, like that was the weakness of the Thunder for a while. They go out, they get Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren is back. That's going to help them, but I would still like to see them beat Denver before I would have faith in them to do so. But at the same time, maybe I can take a lesson from what just happened in the Super Bowl. Like I wasn't going to bet against Patrick Mahomes until I saw him lose, and he got absolutely dismantled. So maybe it's a lesson to try to be ahead of the curve instead of being behind it.
Best player in the world. I didn't know that wasn't Jason Tatum, Grant.
It's not.
Jason Tatum's a dog. Did you see he had like 20 points in the third quarter last night? Dog.
He's awesome. He's great.
Dog.
He's not better than Jokic. He's not better than Shea. He's not better than Luka. He's not better than Giannis.
But he's a dog.
About
to be a 2-time NBA champion too, Grant. You're forgetting that.
He's a dog who didn't win conference finals MVP and didn't win finals MVP.
Where's Jaylen Brown's been nowhere to be found this year.
Both of them. Tatum's been much better than Brown has, but both of them have gone missing at different points.
Yeah, but Jaylen Brown's still missing. He's MIA. I can't find him, Grant. Celtics. Who's your pick right now, Grant? Celtics?
In the East?
Just NBA Finals. East and give me East and NBA Finals. Then we'll move on. I like hearing your validation of my Boston Celtics.
I think the DeAndre Hunter trade for the Cavs was huge because it actually gives them real size on the wings. And they've struggled a lot when they've played teams with athletic wings. And there aren't many of them, but that's your Boston, that's your OKC, that's your New York Knicks. I think Cavs Celtics is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's a 6 or 7 game series, but I would still go Boston out there. In the West, so much can change based on how the bracket shapes up. I would take the Lakers to beat any team in a 7-game series except for the Nuggets. Now, I don't know that the Nuggets would beat everybody. I don't know that the Nuggets would beat the Grizzlies. I don't know they would beat the Thunder. So it's going to depend more out West, like how it shapes up before I can give a real pick out there.
And then if you're picking a champ right now, Grant, who is it?
I guess it would have to be Boston, but I'm not betting plus 195.
That's what they were at this. I mean, they probably were plus 230 at this time last year. I don't have the splits, but they were down to like plus 170, I think, right towards the end of the season. So about in line. Anyways, Grant, those ride the line. We were riding this morning. Had a good time.
Well, I don't want to say we were riding, but yes, I had a good time too.
We were riding. Oh yeah, you don't want. All right, I got you. I gotcha.
It was a good show, and we appreciate you guys tuning in as always. So please, before you click off, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Tanner and I will be back at the end of the week for a new episode where we're going to be talking probably some more NFL, NBA All-Star Game, NBA Finals, all that good stuff. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tanner and I will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.